time at the show so far then?
Yeah, no, I always enjoy coming here. It feels like it's the start of the motorsport year.
Yeah.
Very much. Chance to catch up with friends and people from the industry, and so no, it definitely feels like the start of motorsport season.
Okay. So Stimpy 2209 asks, was it difficult to start a career in India, and what was your route to F1?
So, okay, it was difficult because, as a country, motorsport, we don't have a huge motorsport culture. When I started, we didn't have a single go-kart track. My dad bought me a go-kart for my 6th birthday, and he ran a garage, and we'd park all the customers' cars in a way, and I'd make a track between the customers' cars, which wasn't very popular with my grandfather, but luckily I don't think I ever hit a customer's car. I think I bumped into a wheel rim once, but I didn't actually hit any of the cars. Hit the the compound wall and the pillars and stuff a few times, but but I didn't have a track to race on. So I've never done a go-kart race in my life, which is difficult. I was fortunate that my family were involved in motorsport. My dad used to do a lot of rallying and some racing, and through that, I got to meet people from Europe and the UK, and so it wasn't easy. I started racing in India when I was 16, and then went to race in Asia for a year, and then came to the UK to race in Formula 3. And the biggest hurdle was money, because to get the funding to spend in motorsport in any part of the world is difficult. But in India, with the exchange rate of the rupee versus the pound, was very difficult, and to convince sponsors to invest in a sport that they hadn't even heard of was very tricky. And you're trying to get media to support you and back you. And I go off and do interviews at a go-kart track, and people would say things to me like, we're at this rental go-kart, and they'd say, what's the difference between that and a Formula 1 car? This is media from the biggest newspapers in the country didn't understand enough about the sport. So it was a tricky journey, but you learn a lot along the way, and in the end, when you look back, it's quite nice to be part of a little exclusive club. There's only been 2 Indians in Formula 1 out of 1.2 billion people. So far, I'm the only Indian to race at Le Mans. That's a pretty cool stat to have in your book.
What would you do there? What tips would you give to an aspiring driver?
I think keep your feet on the ground. The sport is much harder, much more complex and complicated than you can ever imagine. The level of racing and karting in Europe is so much higher than in Asia, and really, so just because you've won a few races in Asia or in India doesn't mean that you're the next Lewis Hamilton.
What's your best and worst moment of your career?
I think best one, I can't pick one, I can pick 3. I think winning the GP2 race in Spa in 2007 was a real highlight for me. I'd had a really tough couple of years before that. I'd run out of money, had no sponsorship, thought my career was over. Managed to get a deal with Red Bull, come back to GP2, and won a race, and that put me back on the European map and back on the track to Formula 1, which was really, really a big day for me. The next one was obviously my first Formula 1 race, where I got to being on the grid with Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton was really special, and that's a culmination of a dream for me. And the third one's got to be my first Le Mans, 2012, when I went to be the first Indian at Le Mans. I didn't fully appreciate it at the time, or before it, but on race day, all of a sudden, they play the national anthem for every driver. Pretty magical, when they're playing the Indian national anthem. I remember going up towards the Dunlop chicane and come out for the chicane in the morning warm-up. To the right, there's a campsite there full of Indian flags, and they'd all come from around Europe to cheer for me. And I went, wow, they're all there because of me. There's no other Indian in this grid, and that's pretty cool. I think those are my 3. The worst one's got to be 2011, when I lost the deal with Lotus. I had a contract in place for a number of races, and the management of the team didn't uphold the contract. Got into a very messy out-of-court settlement and all the rest of it, but it meant that I didn't get the opportunity to do the Indian Grand Prix, which was part of my contract with them, and that for me was the lowest point.
What's your favourite press or promotional work that you've done?
There was always some fun stuff when with Red Bull. There was always fun events and bits and pieces that we were doing. I'm trying to think of the best one. They also, yeah, other than the Autosport International, I think some of the Williams stuff actually. We do these. I do these Williams days where we, Robert Kubica and I went out last year. We were driving people around in road cars and having a bit of fun. Fun days out. I like to see people's faces when they go on a racetrack for the first time and they look utterly terrified. That's always great fun.
You've done heritage.
Yep.
Do you ever get to say, I really want to drive that car?
Oh yeah, all the time. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but Jonathan Williams, who heads Williams Heritage, knows my short list of favourite cars that I want to drive. I've now driven most of them, to be honest. He's over the years, and I've been lucky. I've driven cars which have won 5 World Championships. 82, 92, 96. 93, 97, yeah. I've driven 5 World Championship winning cars from Williams, which is pretty amazing, really. Plus loads of other race winners in between.
Who do you think was the driver you've worked with? Either off track, teammates, or off track friends that interview then?
I've been lucky, I think, with teammates. I've had a good relationship with all of my teammates, really. I can't say and even now, like, I'm friends with all of my teammates. I still text with them, and I don't think I've had a bad relationship with any teammate, really. I mean, some better than others. People like Bruno Senna. Bruno's one of my best mates, so it's
When they asked you to go to them, would you be like 100% now?
Mauricio Arrivabene. Yeah, he's not a driver, I know, but he was always quite rude. Not just with me, but with all the media. It was really, you could see the press conferences and stuff. I think Scott Mitchell from Motorsport was one who faced the broth quite often.
You have been starstruck on the job.
Yeah, only once when I met Mario Andretti. I just stood there like a bumbling idiot and didn't know what to say. I've met a lot of top stars, but when I was a kid growing up, actually Alain Prost as well, but now I've got to know Alain a little bit. When I was a kid growing up, I had 2 heroes, Alain Prost and Mario Andretti. And in 2000, I was working with Tag Heuer, as an ambassador at the time, and they knew that I was a big Alain Prost fan, the guy from Tag Heuer. So at the Monaco Grand Prix, he organized a dinner for me with Alain, and that was just amazing. It was literally me, Alain, and this gentleman from Tag. They say you should never meet your heroes, but I sat there and I got to spend 2 hours just asking Alain about all the cars and talking about all the stories and things that I wanted to ask him since I was a kid. That was amazing. I met Mario in 2010. It was my first Grand Prix in Bahrain, and he was there because they had a World Champions reunion that weekend. And I just went, shook his hand, and I just stood there like a bumbling idiot and didn't know what to say. It's really funny now because I think he follows my mum on Twitter. And so I often see things like he's liking my mum's tweets, and I'm like, this is just bizarre. This is, so I would love to go. Yeah, championship winner. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I had a huge painting of the '93 car in my house, and it was in my bedroom. And then when we moved house, my wife donated it to Williams Heritage and said, "Yeah, we're not taking this to the new house." So it now hangs in the Williams Heritage office. The '93. It's a picture of Alain at the San Marino Grand Prix.
There's one more question.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody has asked, will Ferrari let Charles Leclerc race next year?
I think so, yeah. I think that's their intention, is to allow Charles to find his feet and compete. I actually think they hired Charles to push them. I think they decided that clearly Seb was going in a bit of a comfort zone with Kimi, and he could do with a little bit of a shove. So yeah, no, I think that's why they have hired him.